G'day folks. Today I'm talking about dams. And whilst our neighbours all have dams, we don't. So I've been in the process of building some dams, and they're just in the early stages. And I'm going to walk you through what I've been doing. As you can see, all around here, I've been gathering rather large boulders. These boulders are about, so the largest one is probably about 50 centimetres long. And then you got this one on the end here, that's about 35 centimetres from that to that in that direction. The one on the end over here, there. This big fella here is probably 60 centimetres in length, probably a little longer. He's quite large. So ranging in weight from all the way up to probably about a 30 kilo chunk of stone there. The area that I'm in is a creek bed. It's a dry creek bed, so it's a it only gets water when the rain happens. So that flows on through there. I'll get a better shot for you. That flows down here, cuts across there and winds its way through here. And we go upstream, comes through here and goes around that thing there and goes all the way up here. The neighbour has a dam up there. It's quite large, so never goes dry. And that's what I'm trying to achieve here. But we'll see. So I've started digging out this little space in around here to get a bit of extra depth because the water retention ability of a dam is to do with its depth as a ratio of its surface area. So if you put a bowl of water outside and it's a deep bowl, and you put a plate of water outside with the same amount of water in it, that plate will evaporate a lot faster than the bowl. Okay, so you want to create your dam to be more like a bowl than a shallow plate. Now, in order to retain water, you need to have clay. Sand is essential too, because sand is 2 parts to 1 part clay for making sort of like a cob clay cement. And you can add ash from a fire, preferably if you get a whole bunch of eggshells or oyster shells and you put those into a Dutch oven, like a camp oven, one of those cast iron steel pots, and you heat those over a fire until they turn to ash. You will have created calcium carbonate, or what's known in the cement world as lye, L-Y-E. Sometimes called limestone or lime as well. So you add a little bit of that in there and you get a very hard cement. Now, the purpose of this, it comes down to the size of the granule. Okay, so sand, when you're doing a soil test, sand, if you shake up the soil in a jar of water, the sediments that fall first to the bottom, that's sand. In the first 30 seconds, that's all sand. The next 30 minutes, that's silt. And the next 30 days is clay. It takes a long time for clay to settle down because it's very small molecules. So the sand is up to 1 millimetre in size, or down to 1 millimetre in size. Silt is between 1 millimetre and I think it's 1 micron, which is like 0.1 of a millimetre. And then clay is from about 0.1 of a millimetre down to 0.001 of a millimetre. So very, very tiny. The purpose of that is to stop the water from getting through the clay. And that's how you retain the water. Now I'm going to show you a second dam that I've been building, a second type of dam. And I'm going to be gathering the clay from that second dam to then line this first dam. Eventually I want this wall to be quite large. I want it to be at least probably up to the height of this rock here. So that's probably another meter of height that I need to give it. Because I do want this to retain probably at least 10,000 litres, enough for me to have a swim in the hottest of days. And now to dam number 2. Here is the second dam, obviously in the very, very, very early stages. And this area is predominantly clay. So with the tanks uphill, we get a lot of overflow water. We don't have any dams on the property, as I mentioned, but we do have these 2 big tanks. And this one particularly has a bit of a leak in it, a crack, which I hopefully fixed recently. As you can see, there's a lot of kumbunji, the cattail bulrush grass there, and you might be able to hear some froggies. Okay, so when the waters come through, they trickle down through here, and they come in down this little path here, and then they end up right about here. And I want to catch water here, and I would like to grow some rice down here. And I reckon it would be nice to have an open dam as well. Then I can turn this entire area into a real lush ecosystem. So I want to do a bit of a terraced stepped sort of system going on here, where I have an upper rice paddy and a lower one and then a third tier, if possible. Or dig this section out here to a depth of about 5 meters or maybe 2 meters. See how low I want to go before I get exhausted. As I do that, I'm going to be getting the clay from here into a wheelbarrow and taking it down to my other little dam down in that section over there. As they say, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So that's the early stages of the 2 dams.